Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a picture book haul. Most of you know I am a primary school teacher. I don't often haul the picture books that I pick up for my classroom, but this year I am on a really big quality picture book thing, and so I'm bringing in a lot of picture books, and most of them are sitting around here because I want to do some stuff over on my teaching channel and on my teaching blog. I just haven't had time to do it yet, but I did want to film sort of a haul to show you guys what I have found. And some of you guys might find this really interesting, particularly if you have kids or you have friends who are kids, then you get a bit of an idea of sort of what's out there in the book market. I will say I haven't completely read through all of these books. Some of them I've just had a flick through and have had recommended to me by other people. Some of them I have read through, so I can talk a little bit more about them. The first one I want to talk about is Welcome to Country by Auntie Joy Murphy and Lisa Kennedy. This one really unpacks what Welcome to Country means to the Indigenous population and why the ceremony is there and the importance behind it, as well as the language. There is a lot of the Indigenous language in this that is unpacked for kids, and it is truly beautiful. My school is actually going to be doing a whole school task around this book, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So I'm, very excited to add this one to my collection. The next is Willem, a Birrarung story by Auntie Joy Murphy and Andrew Kelly, and the illustrations are again done by Lisa Kennedy. And this one is the story of the Birrarung or the Yarra River. I haven't fully finished unpacking this one, but it is again a gorgeous story. The one thing I really liked about this particular book, it has a glossary of all the Indigenous words that are used because they don't directly translate into English, so they actually have gone through page by page and unpacked what the language means, which I think is super important. Next, I have a stack of other Australian picture books, and these are books that have either been shortlisted or were notables for Children's Book Councillor Awards, or are just Australian picture books that I knew a bit about. So there is Mallee Sky by Jodie Turing and Tanya Herricks, and this is about life in the Mallee. One of my new favourite picture books of all time is Room on Our Rock by Kate and Joel Temple and illustrated by Terry Rose Bainton. I actually shared this with my kids last week and they were blown away by this book, because this is actually a book where you read the story front to back, and when you get to the back of the story you read the story back to front, and it changes the meaning of the book. And this really looks at the fact that there are two sides to every story. It is a reflection of how we treat refugees who need our support, and it is just absolutely stunning. If you get a chance to look at this book, I highly recommend it. Under the Love Umbrella by Davina Bell with the illustrations by Alison Colpoys. Last year I read All the Ways to Be Smart. I was given a review copy by this dynamic duo, and this was, I think, one of their first collaborations together. I haven't read it yet, but I know that I'm going to love it. I mean, just look at these illustrations. I love the pops of the fluoro colour, and it is about knowing that someone is always there who will love you and will accept you no matter what happens. The Great Rabbit Chase by Freya Blackwood. I actually haven't read this yet. I only picked this up yesterday, and I picked it up because I love Freya Blackwood's work, and this was shortlisted, and it is also an honour book, so it's got stickers everywhere. But Freya Blackwood's work is always just stunning, and I love sharing it with my kids. A Cat Called Trim by Corinne Fenton and illustrated by Craig Smith. I think I saw this either on the notables or the shortlisted list, and this is the story of a cat, Trim, who travels with Matthew Flinders as he maps the coastline of Australia and beyond. I saw it and I just had to get it. I like those books that sort of have the non-fiction, fiction storylines, because they're just wonderful reads for kids. The all-new must-have Orange 430 by Michael Speechley. This is a book that is shortlisted this year, and it is about a boy, I believe, Harvey, who owns heaps of stuff but always must have the new thing, and he needs the newest and latest thing, and Orange 430 is the newest thing, so he has to have it. He doesn't know what it is, he doesn't know what it does, but he needs it, and I think this is going to be a really great read and something that is going to be quite meaningful for some kids in my classroom. Girl on Wire by Lucy Estella and Elise Hurst is, again, a shortlisted book this year, and this book really deals with having the courage and confidence to achieve your dreams, and it's just gorgeous, and the illustrations are super stunning. The Feather by Margaret Wilde and Freya Blackwood. See, I told you I love Freya Blackwood's work. Is not a book that I have read yet, but this is on the shortlist as well, and the illustrations are gorgeous, and I know one of my colleagues at work has read it and she really highly recommended it. The rest of these books are just books that I found that I thought would fit into certain areas of things that we teach in school. So I haven't, again, a lot of these I haven't had a chance to unpack fully in depth, but from what I've seen of the book or what other people have recommended to me, they fit sort of areas that we need to talk about. Joy by Corinne Avaris and Isabel Folleth is a book that I just stumbled across in readings the other day. It is about a young girl called Fern who goes off on a journey to find joy to bring back to her nana, who is quite sad and I'm assuming is suffering from some form of depression. But Fern doesn't know how to catch joy, and so she goes off on this adventure to try and find it, and it just sounds absolutely beautiful, and it reminds me very much of Wilfred Gordon MacDonald Partridge by Mem Fox. So I'm looking forward to doing a little bit more work with this book. Incredible You by Reese Brissenden and Nathan Reed. This book really sort of fits the bill of that whole idea of you are incredible, you can do anything that you set your mind to, and this will be really useful for our respectful relationships and bounce back lessons. In My Heart, A Book of Feelings by Joy Wittek and illustrated by Christine Rousey. This is a book that someone at work had and recommended. It's really cool because it's got the cutout pages on each page and it goes through different things within your heart, and some of the language in it is just gorgeous that I really want to share that with some of my class because we're using a lot of picture books as mentor texts and it's always nice to have really high quality examples. I found this little book, How to Put a Whale in a Suitcase by Garidi, and the blurb says, what happens if you have to leave home suddenly and put everything you love into a suitcase? And I believe this is about refugees and people who have to flee their homes. I think this is going to be a really interesting one to unpack because of the way it uses putting a whale in a suitcase as a metaphor for packing your entire life into one bag because you have to flee. I like really powerful books like this. I also really like the simpleness of the illustrations with the text. The School of Numbers, written by Emily Hawkins and illustrated by Daniel Frost, is a book that I stumbled across again in readings because they have awesome picture books and they're very easy to see the way they lay them out. This is not so much a story as it is a adventure through maths. At the beginning of this book, you jump aboard the Starship Infinity and each double page after that is a maths concept, and it sort of teaches you about the maths concept as well as gives you little challenges and puzzles and things to do. So this is a really great maths book and I'm looking forward to showing some of the kids in my class because I have some real math heads in my grade and it's wonderful. How Did I Get Here by Philip Bunting. This one has the tagline, "This is the unauthorized biography of you, abridged," and it really goes through how humans got to be where we are from the Big Bang all the way through to now. So this is a nice sciencey book. Say Something by Peter Reynolds. This is all about speaking up and sharing yourself with the world and saying what you need to say. Hide and Seek by Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown is a very, very well-known, very beloved author. And this is a book of his that I have not read. So I'm looking forward to unpacking this, but I know that it's got some, almost, as with all of Anthony Brown's books, a little bit of a magical realism element to it that I really appreciate. And then finally, I stumbled across this book, Alphamall's A to Z by Graham Carter. And this is really an alphabet book using animals, but the illustrations are gorgeous and the little paragraphs about each animal have some really lovely language and descriptions, and I want to share that with the class. So again, this will be a really good mentor text. So those are all the picture books that I have acquired recently and I'm very excited. Picture books make me so happy. They're just a lot of fun. They have a wonderful way of telling very important stories in a very short format. They often have stunning illustrations to go along with it that just bring out the story even more. So it's truly one of my favorite formats to read. And one of the joys of being a teacher is that I get to read them, even with my older kids who absolutely adore them. If you have any picture book recommendations for me, please feel free to leave them down below. Otherwise, I hope that you have been inspired to go out and have a look at some of the books that are out in your local school or local library. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.